sometimes you just need to take a mental health day and sit in the bed and eat only ice cream. Have you guys seen those memes that like pop up online? Take a mental health day, eat some ice cream. When did mental health become synonymous with being a dork? I'm only being slightly facetious. My biggest problem now with mental health is the absolute victimhood that surrounds it. So I have done 12 steps. Here's the thing, for those of you guys who don't know the 12-step model, it was actually started by a guy named Bill W., okay? And he coined alcoholism as a disease. And he did that to be able to destroy the stigma of shame that some people have around the fact that they have this compulsive behavior that they can't seem to eradicate in their life. So it's no longer you that keeps drinking, you have a disease. I can get behind that. But the bad part is all these other... The problem is there's all these other 12-step groups that have opened up that are also telling people that they have a disease. My friend just joined Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, and we were sitting down, we were having a cup of coffee, and this girl walks by in yoga pants, and he stares at her and goes, "Sorry, it's a disease." It's like, dude, that's not a disease. I was in a 12-step group one time, and I don't say names because that destroys the anonymity. But I remember there was a woman who was talking about how the reason why she gained 15 pounds wasn't because she was eating too many cookies. It was because Donald Trump was in office and she just could not deal with the president. And everybody just nodded their head. I'm like, you guys are here to take accountability for yourself. And you're blaming the fact that you're fat on Donald Trump. Like, look, hate him, love him, like, whatever. Like, that's not even what this video is about. But the video is like, dude, take some form of responsibility. So I started becoming fascinated with mental health because I was in my early 20s. I was on the cusp of graduating college. And I had social anxiety. And if you don't know what social anxiety is, it's this inward shakiness. Like you have like a tweaker on the inside of you. Think of the person that you see in 7-Eleven that's just scratching their neck like, "Gah!" Like that's what you feel like on the inside, even though you're like, "Hi, I'll just have the mashed potatoes." And you try to just be very normal in life. But there's this shakiness. The easiest way I can describe social anxiety is you're constantly feeling like everybody in the room is gonna turn around and be like, "Ha!" and just laugh at you and tell you what a freak you are, but you're not really sure why. So it's kind of this feeling of covering up and needing to kind of shield yourself from the world. So I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what to call it, but I had that. And I found a program called Overcoming Social Anxiety Step by Step. With my white teeth and the way I'm talking about this, I know it sounds like I'm marketing this, but I found this thing by this guy named Thomas A. Richards, not affiliated with him at all, and I was able to get over social anxiety in a couple of years by staying diligent in doing this thing regularly. And it really shifted my paradigm of what I was capable of in life. And from that moment, I have not used mental health as an excuse. I see things as, okay, in one way, shape, or form, this is a spiritual problem, a mental problem, a problem with my diet, but there's a problem and I am the one who has to take authority and attack this thing. I got into mental health because I'm a comedian, I'm an actor, and I knew that there were things in my life that were keeping me from getting what I wanted. I'm here and this thing is here. And with these specific set of behaviors, I am not going to be able to get over there. And so I started to do these things and it got me over it. And the reason why I started talking about it on my YouTube channel is I have dedicated probably 10,000 hours to mental health, which is crazy. And I kept it way over here because I'm like, no. I don't talk about how insane I felt in the past. I just kind of keep that hush in private. It's like my own little personal dungeon. And then I go in front of the camera and I'm me. But I realized, I'm like, what if the struggle is the thing that people want to hear from me? So I don't want to talk too much about myself, but I wrote a one-man show around this, got the best response I could have gotten. I did a short film, got a really good response, and I noticed that the more I talked about these things, the more they resonated with people, whether it was in my stand-up, whether it was on film, or whether it was on stage. Now, I'm not saying that to be like, look at me, I'm so amazing. But I'm saying that to say that clearly there is something going on with mental health. The world is so crazy right now and people are just kind of collapsing. I realized the world was ending as soon as Denny's shut down in 2020. So I was like, that's a wrap. Jesus is coming back. As soon as they stop serving Grand Slams, I'm like, okay, this is Society is done. I have to like preface when I start talking about myself, I have to be like, hey guys, I just want to let you know I'm not going to talk about myself a lot. I got my feelings hurt on YouTube the other day. I can stand on stage in a room full of strangers. I can audition for a role in front of strangers, but YouTube comments are so mean. I put something on YouTube Shorts, and one guy was just like, hey everybody, look, it's the narcissist channel. And that's all he said. Now, there's two things. I know that somebody who leaves a comment like that is not happy in their life. That's not a guy on his way to a meeting as a CEO sitting in the back of a limo while he just kissed his beautiful wife goodbye in the morning. That is a guy who's laying in bed and he has Dorito crumbs in his chest hairs. And I feel for him because we've all been that guy before. But just to be able to not have the awareness and take out your rage, like, hey everybody, look, it's the narcissist channel, because that's how I imagine him saying that. And mental health, when you bring that up, there's two polarities. There's the polarity from, I don't know, maybe like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, to where you tell someone to go to therapy and they're like, why would I go to therapy? I'm not even gay. And then like there's the new one to where it's like, oh, we pay too much attention to people's feelings. Like, are you hurting? Do you need someone to hold you? Do you need me to make him go away forever and take away everything from him and destroy his life? I would rather mental health still be stigmatized to where it's like you're going in a back alley like a brothel with mustache glasses on and just sliding a 20 under the door and you're like, can I just talk to someone? And then you just take off your ski mask and you're like, whew, rough day at work today. And then they're just like, you put the ski mask back on and then you just drift off into the night. And your wife's like, where you been? And you're like, nowhere. That is actually easier than the other way now, to where just everybody's feelings are taken into account and we're literally appeasing people that don't want to get better. If you are having a hard time, you have to learn. There's a phrase in 12-step, accept the world as it is, not as you would have it. And right now, we are placating to people who don't want to do that. They want the world to be as they would have it. So there's apologizing, you have the right to be offended, and you have the right to say that, but there are people out there who are like, this can't exist in the world. It's like neurons firing off in their brain, and they have to be like, make it stop any opposition in my thinking, and they're like short-circuiting out. Now, before I seem too critical of people who have really severe mental health struggles, let me just say this. I moved to Los Angeles in my early 20s, and there have been moments in my life where I've felt like I might have literally gone insane if I did not take care of what said problem was. Now, sometimes it was a spiritual problem for me. Sometimes it was a mental problem. There was times I was just eating crappy food. You know, I used to wake up with 2 Monster energy drinks by my bedside table, and I would slam them down and then take off running, listening to like heavy metal first thing in the morning. And I'd be like, why don't I feel good? It's like, duh, you don't feel good because look at what you're putting in your body. And it's weird because you can get people to empathize with that if you give them a pill. But if you say, hey, you know, you'll take this pill, but maybe that food that you're eating, that fudge bar, is not going to make you feel happy. And maybe that's part of the cause, if not one of the big causes of your depression, dude. And then people are like, you sound like a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, okay, sure. The reason why I bring up this book up is because the main thing about getting mental health intact is the power of the individual. Groups can be a powerful thing. The civil rights movement was a group. But if you join a group as a substitution for becoming an individual, and you just join the collective identity before you know who you are, that is a chaotic thing. Honestly, I really believe that, because I believe if you join the group, you don't know who you are just an empty slate, easily programmed. Part of being mentally healthy is being able to be offended and go about your day. Voice it if you need to. You know, civil discourse, having a dialogue, arguing is all okay. But the second that you're like, I am upset because this person is doing this and they're saying that and they can't have that platform. And it's weird because it's like people with purple hair, but if you remember in the 90s, I remember when people were protesting Marilyn Manson. They're like, he can't come here and he can't speak. And it's like, it's the same thing. You know, you either allow freedom of speech or you don't. And I am very passionate. And as a comedian, as an actor, as someone who creates art and puts it out into the world, I'm very passionate about freedom of speech. In fact, I believe that the reason why it's been under attack is because of a mental health crisis. And we're calling the censorship of freedom of speech for the sake of mental health. And that's not helping people be mentally healthy. Utopia will always end in destruction and despair because we're not taking into account human nature, and there's no way to get away from that. So, anyways, I hate the word mental health now because it's become just like, hey, mental health matters. It's and I work on my mental health every day. I do. I looked away like I'm like, I work on my mental health every day. I really do. I work on my mental health every day. But I hate that word so much. It's like, mental health. It just, there's certain words that just get co-opted. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, though, guys, I got off on a little bit of a tangent. I guess what I'm saying is mental health is no cause to be a victim. You should not feel shame over the fact that you have mental health struggles. There is no shame in that. It's good to be open about it. I am too. But using that as an excuse to control the world and force your manipulative outlook on something, not cool. Not cool at all. There's room for nuance. Two things can be true at the same time. You can say, I agree with this, but I don't agree with that. Things should be a lot more nuanced. We should sound a lot less like teamsters and a lot more like individuals, and only then can people work together. So think about that. Don't use your mental health as a crutch. And yeah, I'm gonna go eat ice cream and yell at my girlfriend because she did not do what I wanted her to do today. So she must pay for it. Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video if it meant something to you. And I'll see you in the next one on Friday. God bless.